Cornelia, you spoke a little bit about transportation, and
Mhm.
you said that only in certain areas, like in San Francisco, is there really good public transportation. Tell us about the transportation in Hanford, Fresno area.
Yeah, that's the one of the parts that I struggled with when I came in California, the transportation, because I didn't have my driver's license yet. And I was fortunate enough that I have my family here to drive me to and from wherever I need to go. It's a must that you have to drive in California. There are transportation, but the what do you call it? The stop areas are limited to certain establishments. So unlike in Fresno and LA and San Francisco, they have Uber, they have taxis there. When it got here in Porterville and Hanford, there are no Ubers, so
Mhm.
nobody will take your Uber ride because everybody drives, and there aren't a lot of like there are no a lot of like buildings where people work. Mostly like hospitals are the biggest buildings that I've seen in this area of California. So it's definitely a must.
It's a must to drive. Okay. And most people in California drive. So that is going to be a challenge for
Hmm.
many international nurses. Some haven't driven for a long time, some have never driven, and some have
Hmm.
driven only in other countries where sometimes you drive on the other side of the road or,
True.
the rules are different. So, how did you go about getting your license and how did you get a car?
Yeah. What I did was because I stopped driving for like 5 years. I used to drive in a different country, and then I came back home. I stopped for 5 years because I didn't have to drive in the Philippines. For the DMV, which is like the Land Transportation Office in the Philippines, it's the DMV here. It's necessary that you have your green card first, your SSS. Um, Proof that you are a resident of the US and California before they can process your license application. There would be a written test, but the review materials, you can all get it from their website. It's basically easy. All the questions in the written test are all in the review materials that they'll give you. So I got it on first try, the written test. And
Well,
then after that, once you've passed it, they will give you a student permit that you will use. You can either enroll in a driving school or have somebody teach you that's also a licensed driver. So for me, that was my brother-in-law. He like taught me how to drive and the roads here. The biggest difference that I noticed is the stop signs. In the Philippines, we don't really have the stop signs in junctions, in crossroads. We always have traffic lights. Even back in the other country that I used to drive, there will always be traffic lights, even in the narrowest streets. But in here, like you can see how disciplined the Americans are. Like there are no police on every stop signs, but people will stop even if there are no cars in the junction. You have to stop for 3 seconds before you can go, and if there are cars in the junction, you have to wait for your turn. So it's really
you got to get you got to
disciplined.
get used to it, and people
Yeah,
are law abiding in America.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I got my car. Well, honestly, I came here. I didn't have like, money to splurge in California. I was fortunate enough that my family lives here, so I have support.
Mhm.
Um, Good thing that Connetics connected me to a bank,
Mhm.
and that gave me a car loan because I didn't have a credit history. When I was trying to get a car, I already have like my car loan. I tried to get from Honda, from like other like Toyota. They were asking for my credit score, and they won't give me a loan if I don't have my credit score. So good thing Connetics has that bank, and also an online car seller that they partnered with. So it was a breeze. It was smooth. I did everything online. I didn't get to see the car before I bought it. They just delivered it in my house, in my front door. So,
What
and
was it? What was it like? When you got your new car in America?
it was so good. like like you have a new independence because you will get to drive around California. You will get to drive on your own to work, and you can get to places. You don't have to ask somebody excuse me, to drive you. If you need to buy something in the store, you can just go yourself.
Yeah. So that's a great feeling because then you can explore, you're independent, and it really it's life changing when you
Yeah.
drive and you've got a car. One thing just to mention to any nurse that is coming to the US is that, as Cornelia said, you can download the booklet of the DMV.
Yeah.
Because when I came here from South Africa, I'd been driving for many years in South Africa, but the rules are very different, as Cornelia said. Like in America, people are very law abiding, they abide by
Mhm.
stop street, those kinds of things. But even in the booklet, it's very different. I remember when I came here, somebody said to me, "Oh, you've been driving for a while. You don't need to study the booklet." And the day before my test, I took out the booklet and I just about like fell on the floor. I was like, "Oh my gosh, there are things here you need to learn."
Yeah.
If anybody is going to be coming soon to America, download the booklet. You can start studying now. Because, getting that car, as Cornelia said, whether you are in Hanford, Fresno area, or if you are anywhere else in the US, most places you have to drive. And getting a car is really kind of a game changer. So you
Mhm.
really want to try and get a head start on that as much as possible. Um,